Hello there YouTube, welcome back to the channel once again. Today we're going to be continuing off on the part 3 of these spoilers. If you haven't watched, you might want to watch part 1 and part 2, which covers a lot of new Datamined content, and on the final video I'll be going over an analysis of what I think about all of this. How much of this is fake, how much of this is red herrings are placed in here by the devs, could it be an old build, all that juicy stuff. I just want to say thank you to everyone for continually supporting the channel. It means a hell of a lot to me, and I hope your support continues throughout the ages and eons. But anyway, let's just get right into it as always. So for anyone who's coming back, I'll just establish the foundation. In chapter 4 you went to the greenhouse where you had to fight Marguerite and a lot of bugs, and after clearing that area and getting some keys you returned back to the main plantation you were in chapter 3. And this is where chapter 5 begins, with quite a few differences once you return. First off, as I said, the keys that you unlock in the greenhouse are going to unlock quite a few new areas for you, and in this section of the game, Lucas is going to be your main opponent. Now it seems after exploring for a little while, he's going to release them molded into the environment, which are going to hunt you down as you try to solve the puzzles, and that's going to add a lot of tension, you know, trying to get things placed or trying to do certain things. And it seems like some of these puzzles are going to have time restrictions on them where you've got to wait, and the molded probably still are attacking you during these points, so this is going to be a very intense section. Now after completing a bunch of puzzles, you come to a new area, which is the main foray. This is going to be an extremely dark environment, so I assume here the flashlight or any other light sources, as it says, are going to be very important. There's going to be a big puzzle that's going to require you to collect various things from the environment, I assume, and the way it says big puzzle, I just assume this is going to require a lot of pieces to unlock. This might be optional, or it might be required to finally escape the area. During this chapter, Zoe isn't going to call you anymore either. It is going to be Lucas, which seems to imply, as before, that he's got CCTV cameras placed all over, as it says he's monitoring you. And I assume this goes back to the little reveal we saw in tape 3 where we saw a little CCTV station. And if anyone wonders, this kind of implies Lucas is a lot more intelligent than we think. He's not just some random hick kid. He actually has quite a lot of craftiness behind him, and he has a fascination with the childish puzzles apparently, so I'm assuming he's actually closely connected to this little girl. Now after escaping this chapter, finally you'll get into the backyard and we'll continue on to chapter 6. Now chapter 6 is going to be quite the interesting chapter, so make sure to pay close attention here. You're going to be moving through the woods and coming upon a river and a boathouse. Now inside the boathouse, it seems like Zoe is inside and you need to cure her. It's also apparent that she's only recently become infected. Now this kind of gives you the essence of who is Zoe. Now I do have a theory on this, that I believe that Zoe is actually Ethan and Mia's daughter, and I'll go into that a little later on another video. I'll go over it once again because I have covered it before, but there's been a lot more information to prove it. Now there is a beach boat on the shore with all the tools you need to make the serum. However, Jack is going to start attacking you around this area, and this is going to be the 4th large boss battle in the game. Now, Jack in this form is called Mukaday Jack, and Mukaday is a type of centipede apparently. So it looks like Jack would have mutated into an insect, which rings true with the virus. We know it has a heavy affiliation with plants and insects. The ship will be quite large enough to be using keys to unlock different parts of the environment. Now if anyone remembers the boat from tape 3, this is probably a shipwrecked version of this boat. And somewhere during the chapter, you'll also get an Evelyn head. And after inflicting a bit of damage on Jack, he'll finally transform for your final boss battle with him. Now it seems like after you defeat Jack, you return to the pier, and then you have to make a very big choice between choosing to save Mia or choosing to save Zoe. Now this goes back with my theory that Mia and Zoe are infected. Both of them are infected, and I already made a theory on this a few months ago, so honestly I just gotta toot my own horn here because I'm proud that I got it right, that you're gonna have to make a moral choice between choosing Mia or Zoe during the progress of the game. Now the chapter ends with an escape sequence and a large explosion, and you will be playing the character that you saved. Apparently, now we saw in tape 3 again that maybe it was Mia that got launched off the explosive boat, and maybe that was from this chapter. Now as the data miners have said, it seems like Mia is saved no matter what, but maybe that's just an early build or something where they hadn't fully developed this yet. Now, Chapter 7 is going to have us playing as Mia. So this is after the boat escape, and we're going to have to try to get Ethan to safety, help him survive, and there's going to be flashback scenarios during this chapter. The entire chapter is quite small overall on here, but there is Evelyn mentioned once again. Now, the name Evelyn has 2 different spellings, which is interesting to note also. After exploring through the environment, you'll come up to a lab anyway, and you'll need to get fuses to repair all the electronics. Chapter 8 has us going toward a cave, a mine of sorts. If people remember the C-Deck images, they had a lot of scans of caves and mines. This is where we'll unlock the machine gun, which will be a side objective that can be completed. You don't have to do it as part of the main story. And apparently Mia is going to become your enemy during this section, and this will be references back to the Mia with the chainsaw and such. She'll probably be fighting you with those weapons. And Evelyn also will be on the sideline as well. The deeper you go into the area, there's going to be other living things, but we're not sure what they are. There's going to be a spiral room, a necrotoxin, and things like that is the central refuge from where it all started. I would say this is the core of where the virus originates from. Now, Chapter 9 has you going through quite a lot of events as you culminate the story. The first 3 events are labeled FB 1 to 3, which the data miner assumes is final boss 1 to 3. Then you'll come to a stage known as Evelyn's Anger. Now, again, there is 2 different spellings for Evelyn, as the data miner mentions here, so that is interesting. And then you'll initiate a final boss battle, which I assume is with Evelyn anyway. You'll get a gun labeled Albert. We all saw that before. And depending on how you play this out and how it pans out, there will be multiple different endings. True endings, false endings, bad endings, all that stuff you're used to from the earlier Resident Evils. We'll have all of that returning once again. And if anyone is curious, by the way, we finally have an image of Ethan to sate your curiosity. This is absolutely beautiful. He's kind of like a more mature version of a frat boy from America. But going back into the spoilers anyway, guys, and all the chat and all the discussion we've just had about it, I want to say 2 things. A, there is actually a Chapter 0, and it just has no real associated files or links with it. And B, because of that, it implies with a lot of the other stuff we know of as well that this is maybe an early build where quite a lot of stuff is missing, and maybe some additional stuff has been put in there as red herrings. Like, we don't know, for example, if Evelyn is real. Why is there no references to the grandma, for example? Why is there no references to the supernatural experiences we know we're going to be going through based on the tapes? There's a lot of missing content. We don't see any of the VHS tapes in play here. So yeah, I would say there is quite a lot of missing content in this. This is probably, in my opinion, from one of the oldest builds that the game had available to it. This is probably from 5 to 6 months ago, and I would say it's quite likely that the developers had all of these files and the full demo built when they actually released the demo for the first time. However, there are other possibilities as well. I'm not going to deny it. It is also possible that the developers put in a lot of these files as false flags. The entire chapter summary could just be fake, to be honest, to screw with people. However, I think there's too many files associated with it for that to be the case, but that is a possibility that I can't deny. I guess we'll only see when the full game releases, and I hope you're really looking forward to that, to be honest. I've got a few more videos to produce that will comb over all of these Datamined spoilers, and each one will be a theory in itself that uses the Datamined and other content to kind of make a good suggestion of what we're going to be expecting. For example, I do want to actually go over Mia being the kitchen killer and the ghost girl once again. There's been some recent evidence for that, and in this Datamined we see some hints of that as well. And with all of the previous evidence I had gathered, I'd like to make a fresh video on it for people to give everybody a raw insight into it once again. Lucas is another mysterious character, and I haven't really covered him too much. I've speculated over him in my other videos, but I haven't really made a video on him entirely, and I think there is enough here for me to start actually heavily speculating on it, so there will be videos on that too. Also guys, if you enjoy watching the videos, please leave a like and a subscribe. It would mean a hell of a lot to me. And if you have anything to give, I have a Patreon set up. You can give as little as you want. That would just help me to buy games and to get a better headset and things like that, so I can produce better quality content. By no means does donating give you any advantage or special perks. It will just help the channel grow faster and produce better content. It's your choice whether you want to put there. There is no bad feelings if not. Also, if you would like to join the Discord server, guys, I put a link to that in the description in every single video. If you download the Discord app or you even just paste it into a web browser, you can come join and say hello to the community. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I really do hope to see some of you in the Discord community soon. But if you are still watching, as always, have a beautiful day, take it easy, and peace.